All right, let's call the meeting to order, everyone. Welcome. It's great to see so many people, and it must be the heat wave we're having that brought you all out, I'm sure. I'm Karen Beer. I'm chair of the EPS committee. You want to introduce yourself?
I'm Cora Landis.
Betsy Nelson. Sylvia LeBlanc.
Okay, and we have a full agenda tonight. We're going to start with basically kind of three presentations: a comprehensive plan, 26 to 2029 update, and then our dual enrollment agreement, the POM schedule for 26-27, and looking at some new opportunities there. And then we'll go into several informational items. So with that said, I'm going to turn to Dr. Donnelly.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
And I'm sorry for being sniffly.
Rich is sucking in.
All right, so thank you. So we have some fellow members here in the audience who participated in our comprehensive planning process. So for those of you that are here, thank you so much for that dedication of time. As the committee is aware, comprehensive plan is a requirement from the Pennsylvania Department of Education. It occurs every 3 years, so that we're constantly in a cycle of planning, whether it's the overall comprehensive plan, the special ed comprehensive plan, or the guidance department, or what's also known as 339 plan. And so in our comprehensive plan, we have a steering committee who's made up of various stakeholders. And as you can see, those are the names of those individuals there. We thank them again. Again, the Department of Education tells us what stakeholder groups are to be part of that. From there, we have a survey that goes out, and that survey went out to our community and our students and our staff. And then from there, we have focus areas that then we have what's called an action planning team or action planning committee. Again, folks in the room are on those committees, including Linda and Cora were on mine, so they got to spend an extra 3 nights with me. I'm sure they were thrilled by that. And so from those action planning committees is what Rich and I will be sharing with you, and Gary for to pipe in as well, what those teams came up with and what we then shared with the steering committee. And then the steering committee approves or thanks and nods, right? And then takes that, and we then have to put this into the system, into the computer. This will be, the plan itself will be posted next week on the website. It must remain there for 28 days. And then the board will vote in March. And then I will submit the final application with Dr. O'Connell by March 31st. So with that said, let's see if this works today. So the steering committee came upon 4 different areas, or 4 focus areas as it were. As we know, everything and all things we do in the public school system is for academics, for academic programs, providing for our students the ability to be as successful as they can be and to graduate from Palisades High School and for their choice, right? Whether that be entering the workforce, going into the military, or perhaps maybe going to college. And so with that base, we have the pillars which are holding up the roof, which is lifelong success. And those 4 areas were academic achievement, operations, engagement, and vision and mission. So that created the 4 action planning teams that feed into the goals that we have for the next 3 years. What are we hearing? So just some brief overview of what we heard. From the survey, 93% of those respondents in the community stated that they feel informed from the district. Almost 84% of our employees said that they have a sense of belonging. The community identified academic programming, supportive staff, and fiscal responsibility as top values of the district. The survey reveals a strong mission-aligned foundation, and 91% of our students who responded, and there were more than 700 students in grades 5 through 12 who responded, that they feel safe and supported here in school. So those are some positive areas, but then the focus areas are places for growth. Where do we want to see ourselves growing and going over the next 3 years? So similar to the previous plan, we have, as I mentioned, those 4 pillars that we worked on. So we take these action plans, and the first we'll go over is academic excellence. And maybe Gary, if you want to speak to technology, that'd be great.
Sure. So we came up with a goal, and then what we ended up doing was, you can read the goal up there, but what we ended up doing was applying that goal to 3 different stakeholder groups. First stakeholder group was students, second stakeholder group is staff, and not just teachers, but all staff. And then the third was parents and community. The goal is preparing students, staff, parents, and the community for the practical application and understanding of technology and AI related to academic achievement with an emphasis on real-world technology-based skills. And then we just applied that to 3 different stakeholder groups.
Yeah, I really appreciated how that team came up with this idea of incorporating educational opportunities for the greater community as well. We're all living and growing with this. Just in fact today, as an anecdote, Gary sent out this new program within Google that you can take someone's picture and create a video within a minute. I shared one with Dr. Beer that I made about her talking about curriculum. She's like, "Where's that from?" I'm like, "My computer." So we're going to work on that, which is important and timely. Because again, when it comes to technology, this isn't about forcing technology or forcing AI or increasing technology use. That's not the point. Rather, the point is educating our students, staff, faculty, and community about how to use what I appreciate in the words here, the practical application and understanding of technology and AI related to academic achievement. Because it's inevitable, our students here in Kintnersville will go off into the world, whether that be Philadelphia, remain in Kintnersville, go to Spain or Russia, and they need to be able to compete and be competitive with their peers from everywhere around the world. And technology and AI are not going away, even if we want them to. So we want to make sure we're prepared and have our students prepared. Another subsection under academic excellence, and this is the only one that has 3 sections, because again, academic excellence is at the crux of all that we do. So based off of the surveys and the steering committee, the second prong is courses and programs. So the goal for or objective of that committee or that subcommittee was to talk about and look at what are we doing, what are we offering for instruction and opportunities that prepare our students for their secondary path of choice, as I mentioned. So this group came up with goals about evaluating our current offerings and how we can then grow those and expand upon them to support students of all learning types. So expanding our opportunities for coursework, supporting students by looking at what intervention and enrichment programs we have from a K-12 perspective, and then further developing our curriculum in a meaningful way with engaging opportunities, using a lot of times the phrase or the word community was involved. And so really finding ways to tap into our community to make that learning process happening, not just in the classroom, but outside of the school building as well. And the third subsection or third prong is student opportunities and choice, right? Here in Palisades, student voice and choice is very important. And as I shared anecdotally at this committee, 2 of our high schools' social studies electives, racism and genocide and non-Western civilizations came from student interest. They wanted those courses to happen. And now this year we're implementing 2 new science electives that are being taught this semester, from woods to waves and from farm to fork. So again, coming from student interest, we are able to build those courses with the board approval and then give kids those opportunities to try new things. So this subcommittee, upon which Cora sat, talked about those choices and opportunities, how we can leverage the utilization of surveys of both current students as well as recent graduates in order to find out not just their interests, but from our recent graduates, do they feel prepared in the world in whatever path they chose? And based off of those responses, what should we continue to do, and what should we maybe change and or enhance to give our graduates the best leg up when they go out into the world? So that's that. Engagement, Mr.
Yes, I can jump in here.
Rich, before you go,
I'm sorry.
are there any, do you want to ask questions now or do you want to do the whole thing?
I think do the
Do the whole thing? Okay.
Okay, thank you. Mrs. Schlosser and Dr. Spearing actually chaired the engagement committee. The strategy and the approach that this group took was how do they engage students, community members, and staff? And when you look at the strategies, if you would like on the next slide, strategy 1, 2, and 3 are around those different stakeholder groups. Strengthen engagement opportunities for students, and we have a bunch of opportunities there and ideas. We talk about communication and engagement of families and community, including those that don't have children in our schools. And then you look at the third strategy, and we talk about culture in our buildings and 360-degree feedbacks for our staff, for our administration, to optimize, as that last bullet says, the time we have with meetings and make sure we're hitting the mark.
All right, and then operations, and Carl's here for a different presentation. Feel free to pop in when you come back. Operations is a very large bucket. It's not just simply about turning on the lights and running the water, right? This is a larger bucket that talks about creating an environment in all of our buildings in which our students feel successful and have opportunities to grow and to learn. And how do we go about doing that? This team has 3 strategies. And one is improving the efficiency of staff and looking at workload, student-teacher ratios, scheduling, et cetera. So looking at the structure of how we are aligned with the programs that we offer. Strategy 2 is about developing a cost-effective plan. So again, music to the ears of our board members who are fiduciarily responsible for our taxpayers. So how are we utilizing our tax dollars to ensure that our physical plant is up to snuff in each of our buildings? So again, our students feel comfortable and safe, right? Because there is no Bloom without Maslow, right? So that idea that you can't access education if you don't feel comfortable and safe. So thinking of that. I'm just kidding, there are 4 strategies. Building the community understanding of financial use, right? Whereas we are very transparent and we have all of the information on our website, finding ways to strategically inform the community about decisions when they happen. And then finally, looking at a plan to optimize bus pickup and drop-off times. That's been a conversation. We're going to continue to try to tackle that, but keeping in mind that we are a 101 square mile rural district where we don't have, it's a large, expansive space. So, and you only have a limited number of buses. So nonetheless, we're going to do some work on that and focus on that over the next 3 years. So we also have to provide anticipated costs. So when you total all of this up, this is about the total of this 3-year comprehensive plan is about $100,000 less than what was requested from the last plan. As I mentioned to the steering committee, these numbers are not set in stone. When the board votes for the plan, it's for the crux of the plan and also then the specific action steps that you just saw. The money involved, while we are recommending that's what we're thinking things may cost at some point, and to attach it to the plan and the actionable items, it's not a guarantee or a requirement. And so the board is not saying we are committing today to $88,500 for next year. It may not happen, but we're thinking that will be the amount we might need in order to activate each of those steps that we've indicated. And I will say too, I shared at that committee that in the operations area, talking about improvements throughout the district, our HVAC improvements will be presented through capital funds, and so that does not impact tax or millage rate when improvements like that go through what's called capital fund.
And the last area that we talked about as a team was the mission and vision statements. And quite honestly, this was the part of the meeting we had with the steering committee that got the most conversation. If you look at what the current mission statement is, inspired to lead, prepared to succeed, and we have a new recommended mission statement that a lot of stakeholders contributed to. Palisade School District inspires passion, shapes purpose, and champions potential in every learner. And some of you might be saying, well, Rich, we're a little bit confused because what is the difference between mission and vision so we can have a better sense of what this actually is? And I want to read to you a really good definition, quite honestly, in my research of Google. A mission statement defines an organization's current purpose, daily operations, and what it does, acting as a workhorse to guide present actions. So again, let me say what a mission is. Defines organization's purpose, daily operations, and what it does. Whereas a vision statement, which we'll get to in 10 seconds, defines desired future state, why the organization exists and where it aims to be, serving as an inspirational, long-term, aspirational goal. And this would be for our learners and our students. So Palisade School District inspires passion, shapes purpose, and champions potential in every learner. And the steering committee, I know there were a lot of you on that steering committee, we got hung up on the word student versus community member versus faculty staff member, and that's where we landed on learner, because everybody, in fact, is a learner. Wherever you sit in this community, you're a learner, always learning. Our vision statement, Palisade School District is a community of learners where students' optimism, aspirations, and ambitions are fostered and nurtured. We are committed to working collaboratively to provide a safe, enriching, and supportive educational environment in which all students upon graduation are prepared for success in their futures. Nice, wordy, long. I'm not sure anybody could actually recite that, but I think we captured something with a lot of power here. The Palisade School District will awaken passion and purpose for learning and nurture a perspective that serves others in the pursuit of excellence, ensuring all students are prepared for success. And I know we have a lot of people here. There was lots of, I would say that steering committee meeting was maybe an hour, probably 15 minutes of that meeting was talking about this because it's so important to set the foundation for academic excellence, for engagement, for operations, all those other things that come after.
And I think a really cool point to that too, Rich, is that one of your committee members was a student who volunteered to participate as well. So one of our current students helped contribute to that writing.
Yeah. And then the core competencies. What are core competencies? They're skills. They're just what we say. They're competencies that we want people to attain before they graduate from the Palisades School District. They're skills that we want them to acquire. On the left side, this is where we currently sit. Keep in mind, some of these were developed as we were coming out of COVID, out of school shutdown. And our committee and our steering team liked a lot of the things on the left, but wanted to bring them maybe more current or more relevant with the world and the community we live in today, with technology and all those kind of things that impact us.
And when we began that review at the steering committee, there were 13 bullets. Many of us in the room cringed at that, and so we had to make it even, so there are now 12. And that was the presentation that we made.
Very great, thank you so much. And really, thank you to everybody who participated in this process. Do the core competencies have to be included in the plan that goes to the state too? Do they ask for that, or is that just something we have?
That's just something that we do.
Got it. Okay, all right, team, questions?
Yeah, Michael, I'm looking at the committee that I sat on, the strategies. There were that one of the action, because I know, and I'm bringing it up because there was a lot of conversation at the table about it. Collaboration with our sister schools, and I don't see that. Is that in the plan itself?
Yeah, so you will see once I build out the actual components, you'll see that as indicated. This is an overview of the overarching bullets.
Okay.
But what Cora is saying is one of the ideas is to see how we can pull together resources with neighboring districts, whether that be for curriculum or for transportation, whatever that looks like.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Looking at the possibilities that might be out there.
Exactly.
Yeah, from my perspective, no questions, but it felt very thorough, and I think from my perspective, I keep saying that, Sylvia's tired, Sylvia has a perspective. We hear a lot of things from the board, from our conversations with administration, staff, teachers, and from the community, and it felt reflective of those conversations, which is always a very good sign, right? So that's the intention of having all these surveys to bubble up. Really appreciate some of the forward thinking on AI and other things that I do think we'll need to tackle probably sooner rather than later if I watch my kids do assignments, if that's any indication, but really appreciate the thoroughness and think this gives at least the board a really good hook for a lot of things that we've been talking about.
Yeah, I actually asked a lot of questions beforehand, so surprisingly, I don't have any questions. How about,
I just have a comment. I read acronyms well because of education, but I would just be really conscious because I read it and went, and there were a couple I had to go, wait a minute, what is that one? Just to make sure, because it is going to the community, that the acronyms are spelled out in
like
in
AI,
text.
like stuff like that?
Well, AI, I think a lot of people are,
Right.
but
Maybe
it
not.
wouldn't hurt. But there was MTTS was in there, and and again, if you have an education background, you can filter them out. But if you don't, you might not,
That's a good point.
and that might.
Perfect.
Great. All right, community, Linda?
So this is just a comment, and for those of you that were at the steering committee meeting, I know that Donna Holmes expressed a concern for terminology based on the cultural environment, maybe I'll call it. And at the time, I was sitting there and something just kind of unsettled me a little bit, but the longer I look at it and think about it, I would like to challenge us to look at the word advocacy in our, so if, Dr. Donnelly, if you can go back to the slide with the list. Yeah. So when we have listed there advocacy for self and others, I know, again, Donna's concerned, and I don't even remember the word right now that was on the list that she was uncomfortable with, for what it might stir up in community and what they hear. So that word stands out to me in that it has the potential to have activism tied to it. And so I think it might be nicer to say that we would like to see our students able to support and defend their perspectives, your word that you've just been saying,
Rub it in
or
my face.
viewpoints, or something to that, kind of thing.
Mhm.
Just, it's my observation.
Yeah, it's a great point. When you said that, the first, activism is the one that for me is a little bit more worrisome, whereas I was okay with that, advocacy. So, but I think let's take a look at it.
Yeah, and I think I have heard teachers and have used with my own kids, like advocate for yourself when it comes to
Yeah,
teachers, like you forgot to hand in that assignment, go advocate for yourself. So it is a term that I would recognize in what I think would be an appropriate context for us all, is really, you don't need me to fight this battle, go and say what happened or tell them you made a
That's right.
mistake. That to me is
Stand
the
up for yourself,
advocacy that I think is reflective of what I see there, from my perspective.
So Sylvia, you're spot on. I worked with that committee before it was brought to the steering committee. Amy Stump's here with us tonight. She was on that committee as well. And that's exactly where that committee was coming from, that we often talk with students, advocate for yourself. If you need something in the class and you're not getting it, let us know. And then we talk with high school kids about that. I'm sure the conversations look different at the elementary level than they do at the high school level, but it was advocate for yourself and advocate for your buddy if he needs something or there's something happening that person's not coming forward. Let us know. It was all about, I'm looking for synonym words if advocacy is not the right word for the board to consider. I did synonyms of advocacy. Nothing's jumping out to me, but it was absolutely coming from where you exactly described. Yeah.
Which, again, I
Yeah.
appreciate that perspective.
Yes.
But the word that Donna had a problem with, I did not.
Mm.
And we removed that. And so I'm just looking at that. And it's a little thing, for me, but I'm just saying for others, it may be more so. So if we change the other, maybe we could just at least look at that.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Just to add to that, I know like in IEPs and 504s, they use that word advocate a lot.
Yes.
And that's a skill that we're trying to have these kids develop all throughout. That's probably from middle school when they start writing those IEPs. So I think that word, the kids know what it means. That's helpful.
Right.
I'll defend Linda. I read advocacy, I thought activism as well, so, I understand where you're coming from, and I come from a political background, so that might be why I'm a little bit biased, but I do understand your perspective on that.
So quick,
And I'm here with you, but I'll support you, because having had 3 kids with IEPs, it's so important, they learn to advocate for their needs, and not get lost.
love the dialogue, but it was my fault because I know Amy Wright as both a parent and a teacher, but Amy Wright, Tinicum Township.
Yeah, I was just going to say, so because this is a committee meeting, we always outline who speaks. So you always have to say your name and then your township. So, which I know sometimes we get passionate about what we want to say, I understand.
So if you don't mind, I'm sorry, so.
Yeah, sure, Bree, Brooke, I'm in Kitchenerville, Nockamixon Township,
Thank you.
How do you spell your last name?
MRUK.
You said Nakamixon, thank you.
Joan Maruck,
That's right.
last name. Also not from Nixon.
Great, thank you.
All right, any other comments from the public?
Did a good AI lookup of advocacy. And they state there's 4 types of advocacy. So be aware of that. So again, it talks to everything we just mentioned. So it's just a good.
Okay. Thank you.
I appreciate that the kids are learning that type of advocacy,
Mhm.
but
That's
I
right.
just,
Want to be
again,
clear on it.
defending
Want to
and
be clear.
supporting their perspectives might be better. But anyway, okay, go ahead.
Thank you. All right, anyone else? Great. All right, well, I actually thank you again for all the work that's been done. And I one of the things that I love about the comprehensive plan, and certainly we have talked about this significantly, about the need to, look at survey data and what that can tell us and what it can do for us. So I've pulled together, thanks to Dr. Donnelly, who shared all the raw data, I pulled together the data under academic achievement, and in particular, comments on additional resources, comments on, I think it said barriers or something like that, and then of course the infamous additional comments. So I'm two favorite student words. I'm giving you homework in a packet. So I'm giving this to you, to each of you, to read for the next meeting that we come together. Because again, I think that the comprehensive plan is awesome and sets some good direction, but I think it would be helpful for us as EPS to read these comments and then come together in March as a discussion. What are we saying? And again, back to that idea of, as a committee, what can we do to help and support? Now, this is just the employee data, not that I don't think the community data is important and student data is important, but as you can see with employee data, we have 9 pages here. So I wanted to just, I wanted to start somewhere. But if you could read this, come back to the March meeting with, what are your standouts and what are some areas that, we can either address as an EPS committee, or that we want to say to Dr. Donnelly, here's some things we want to know more about.
Yeah, because I think there were some quick hits in there, right?
Yes.
I need a blah.
Yeah.
And that we could probably, I think I could go on Amazon and get that done.
That's right.
Let's get it done.
That's right.
Yep.
All right, great. All right.
Excuse me.
Oh, so sorry.
When was it coming to the board? It's not next week.
No,
March
no.
18th.
So the next month, okay, thank you.
All right, next item, BCC, dual enrollment agreement.
All righty, so this is really fast. It is, the idea is that by context, every school district in Pennsylvania is required to have at least one dual enrollment agreement with a college or university. For us, we've had partnerships with Bucks County Community College for decades. Also, it's the most convenient insofar as location. Unfortunately, some of the other schools with whom we've had supports for some of our scholar students no longer offer those programs, but this program is open to all of our students at Palisades High School. So with that said, we're required to have one, and so by compliance pieces, this one is being uploaded with the comprehensive plan because you must have at least one. That being said, Mr. Heffernan and I will be meeting with the community college to talk about additional and expanding opportunities for the 27-28 school year. So not next year, but the year following, if possible. We might be able to add some things next year, but we're not sure yet. But, and more beyond that, is we're also currently working and doing research about additional opportunities outside and above and beyond Bucks County Community College with whom we may have other dual enrollment agreements, because you can have more. And so we're looking into what that might look like. So more to come on that, and we'll report back to this committee later this spring.
And something that's very exciting, I know Dr. Beer, whose children went through here when this wasn't a possibility. Ms. LeBlanc, I'm not sure, we'll see how quick it moves, but the good news is Bucks County Community College is now starting to open the door on endorsing high school teacher classes.
Yeah.
Seems to me they're starting in the southern part of the county, working their way up.
Oh.
We're doing all of our pitch.
Dual
Pretty well said. Done.
I think we
You be under
necessarily program, but
Yeah, but I think that's a good thing, and
Times at the middle.
And Mrs. Yerapeth, correct?
Soapbox is gonna fall down soon, but.
Yeah, and I agree with you, and I
you know, and teach for 90 minutes, so we talked about earlier about, you know, lesson planning for low reflection. There's things that are important to me. For you know, when you I know we've been asking questions and answering throughout, but I really am proud of the tough discussions of, you know, what for kids, that's always where the conversation ends. Currently at and so forth, and would need to be for our kids.
And Nicole, thanks. The CK of today.
Environment needs slide. How the time is used matters as much as the length of the period. And actually, you know, when you dig into the research is clear that it's not about the time, it's about how it is used. And so when we look at the professional development needs, and then you dig into the research on professional development, we need
district as part of this. So I know that Linda had asked for, maybe more than just the 250 event on that day, what is going on in our schools and our classrooms. So I put out an APV to our principals and said, hey, can you please have your teachers fill in for me some charts of some ideas that came to their mind. So this list is not all-inclusive. It's what was captured over a course of a couple of days. So it's pretty impressive if you ask me. This is just elementary, the different activities that are taking place. So every grade level, K through 5, is having exposure to concepts that surround and connect to America 250. Our middle level as well, all 3 grade levels have intentionally which they are reviewing and talking about components that relate back to America.
Who's sorry?
The
owl just hooted, yeah. Sorry.
Even Gary's flustered.
Right, I was like, what was that?
I thought
Did it hoot?
It disconnected.
Oh.
Totally hooted.
Can I continue?
He got tired of
Yes,
the
please,
presentation.
sorry.
I did not hear it luckily.
Oh,
who's
my
one of
goodness.
And then the last page I have for your perusal, the high school, again, every grade level is listed with different activities that are embedded within the curriculum and or are being added this year as a special component in order to provide that exposure to our students regarding topics and concepts that deal with America and our history in celebration of America 250.
That is awesome. Mhm. Good stuff.
That looks wonderful. I did want to just go back to a comment that Director Freeman said at our last board meeting, in that I still think it would be a really nice maybe icing to all of this if we have our student representatives or some of the class officers or something, at least periodically, maybe not every day, but at least periodically in their announcement times or whatever, just bringing mention to specific on this day in American history, or, bringing attention to a particular hero of any nature, sort, or whatever kind of thing. So just to give them something to contribute.
Why don't we mention it to our TV vid kids who do the video in the morning?
Yeah.
And maybe, I don't know about every day, but if they're
Well, that's what I
significant,
said.
you know,
Very good, yeah.
February
That's
10th was the, I don't know what February 10th was.
President's Day coming up.
Yeah.
Right.
Just to look at the, just
Yes.
maybe to add a
Agreed.
couple things in the morning announcements, just
I
to
love
kind
that,
of,
Yeah.
zhuzh up our history.
That's right. Yeah.
Because the
That
kids
sounds
put
great.
together that program.
Right.
Right, and then the last one's wicked simple because it's just a refresher, because I want to make sure that the word is out there. I met with Mrs. Bernia today. She is my PIMS enrollment and residency support, and so she and I are designing sort of a reimagined kindergarten registration. Dr. O'Connell will remind folks publicly at the board meeting next Wednesday, but online registration is very much encouraged, and that opens next week. All that information will be on our website. Diana Santoro will continue to include that in the patch and draw attention to it. As many families that that have school-age kiddos for next year, as many that can register in advance online would be fantastic. But we do encourage all families, whether you register online or partially or not at all, to attend registration at the middle school on March 23rd from 4 to 7. We're designing some fun things. I'm going to see if I can get some of the school mascots there. We're going to have some of our kindergarten teachers will be there, as well as our school counselors. It'll be an opportunity. We'll have backpacks available for families if they wish to take that. And we're thinking about including some other fun little things as well to make it a bit of a sort of a celebration, a picture opportunity, and then make sure then that from our end, that all the required documents are working and in place. Again, as you know, in our district, we don't have specific necessarily catchment zones. So the more kiddos we have as quickly as we can, the better off we are at being able to create balanced classes among all 3 of our buildings. So that ends my information items.
Did you catch the spelling error? Did you catch the spelling error?
Not yet.
I'm only kidding. We've been talking lots about lots, and you deserve that after my video. I'm sorry, go ahead.
That's okay.
Comments.
Marie, talking Dixon Township, it's kind of off of the kindergarten angle. So my question is, so my frame of reference, I have 3 children. My oldest is 4, so he will be entering kindergarten not next year, the year after. I've been reading about your one-to-one program, so if you wouldn't mind explaining that.
One-to-one
to me.
technology?
Yes, with technology, I'm reading that, they're trying to get one device per student K through 12. Does that mean when my son potentially starts here in 2 years that he is getting a Chromebook?
Yes.
And then the answer, I guess regardless of that answer, how is technology implemented in your curriculum, particularly for the early elementary level?
So yes, we are one-to-one. Do you want to talk about some of the curriculum, especially in
Sure,
early
and what does
grades?
that mean?
Yep, so one-to-one means that every student upon registration is given a Chromebook.
Even in kindergarten?
Correct. For our kindergarten, first and second grade friends, those Chromebooks remain in the classroom. They do not transport them back. So,
Okay.
and we went one-to-one K through 12 because of COVID. We had been previously 3 to 12. So then we're K to 12, but that's actually allowed us to enhance the programs that we offer in the classroom. Any curriculum is going to come with ancillary, so activities online that kids can do through that program, not going to the World Wide Web.
Okay.
Where they can go on, for example, with our new elementary reading program, we have an online component called Boost. So students, it's been found through data that if students access Boost at least 10 minutes per day for approximately 3 or 4 days a week, that they will increase about, I want to say, double digits, somewhere around 16% from where they started at the beginning of the year, in addition to any other growth they would have had because of that personalized program. And we can talk more about this individually if you'd like to chat with me. Our teachers, and we did presentations on this over the past few years as well. Joanne Allen's been to all of them, which I appreciate. Our elementary teachers, none of our classrooms K through 12 will you ever walk into a classroom and students are simply in front of their Chromebooks from start of the period to the end of the period. Even and much less so at the elementary level, and even and much less so in kindergarten, first or second grade, and even or much less so in kindergarten. The Chromebooks are used very sparingly in kindergarten because we want those kids talking to each other, work with their teacher, with the aide in the classroom, learning and growing. But we do have periods of time when accessing those programs that come with the curriculum are meant to be a support for our kiddos. And that's how that's worked.
Okay. So homework is pen and paper then?
And well, kindergarten, they don't really get a whole lot of homework. But again, yes, no, they would not bring their Chromebook home unless we have potential winter weather. And then we do send Chromebooks home. But we're also figuring out how to just do paper packets for our youngest friends as well, so that they can just continue that model of pencil and paper. And we also teach cursive in second grade.
Oh, wow.
Yes, they do.
And then, approximately about how much time is on the Chromebook, I guess?
I would, honestly, we looked at that and looking at the programs, I would say definitely not even 45 minutes a day.
Okay.
Wasn't it like mandated that they were only allowed to do like an hour, no more than an hour a day?
Yeah,
in
it was-
elementary?
Yeah, it was something
Yeah.
like that, but again, we never get up to that level at
Yeah.
all. I mean, fifth grade teachers may be working with kiddos on using Google Docs to talk about how to type their papers, but we recognize the importance of that FaceTime, particularly in kindergarten.
Well, thank you for asking that question. I mean, we learn more and more and more about screen time all the time, and it's definitely something that, we're very cognizant of. We've talked a little bit about, because it's going to be coming sooner rather than later, maybe a screen time policy or something like that. And I think you'll probably see that coming in the future.
And no cell phones in the elementary school.
Yeah, there's now
Is
legislation of
that
this.
cell phones in
Oh, yeah.
elementary school?
Okay, oh, yeah. Well, and
And
especially,
watches, and
right.
watches.
Well, and especially being in a rural area, parents want, that some of it, but now it's now legislative, bell to bell.
They passed
It is passed. Linda, go ahead.
We are at?
I think,
Yeah,
yes,
I
we're at
think we're
public,
done.
I did a
Okay,
terrible
yeah.
job of saying that. Yes, we're at
So-
public comment.
So, just going back, I don't know why that just made me think of something as far as legislation wise, and I'm not sure if this is nationwide or if this was in a particular state. I feel like it was nationwide. I just heard we were talking about the PE schedule and that piece in the middle school, that there was going to be a requirement of 30 minutes of PE time required K through 12 every day.
I have not heard that at all.
Now I have to go back and look that up, but I am
I haven't
pretty sure
heard
I
that at all.
heard that. So I found that very interesting.
Maybe it's proposed, yeah, I didn't see
Yeah.
that.
Well,
That'll throw a wrinkle in this.
I wish somebody legislated that for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would.
Yeah.
Forget lunch.
I found that interesting, but
And again, the
they can't
education
walk in
piece
between
goes
classes.
state
And now
to
they get
state.
whole milk.
Education and what's taught is state to state, so it would have to be a state policy, but I haven't heard that.
Interesting.
No.
I don't know where that was. I'll see if I can.
Yes.
Yeah, if you could find that, that'd be
Bands,
great,
yeah.
because I've not heard that either, but I would be curious to hear.
You know,
it.
you're just walking around the class.
Yeah, I will say that Dr. Donnelly and I were talking about this, the legislature has passed some early literacy legislation, which is great for Pennsylvania, but as always, unfunded. So, talk to your legislators and say, please fund literacy for all of our children.
Is digital literacy, is that a requirement now?
It is not, no.
No. It's
Cursive is though, that was new.
What's that?
Cursive, they got, required to learn cursive.
It's coming, yes. I don't know if it's been officially passed, but it's coming, but we do it, so. All right. I could talk about curriculum all night, but I know you probably don't want to, so thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good night, stay warm.